guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is Mental Muse 2.0 and today I got a different type of video for you guys. We are going to talk about the problem with dark chocolate. Now, have you ever heard that if you're going to eat chocolate and to make sure that it's dark chocolate, because apparently dark chocolate is ever so much healthier than regular milk chocolate or white chocolate or any other type of chocolates you can think of. I mean, even there's some health studies out there saying, oh, dark chocolate is better for you, it's healthier for you, it has less sugar for you, all this stuff. Well, how do we consumers know the actual truth about dark chocolate? So, today, let's divulge into or take a nibble at dark chocolate, shall we? Alright, so dark chocolate, okay, it's a great antioxidant, and I mean it can improve your heart health as well as other conditions. But I mean, there is a dark side to this quote unquote healthier chocolate. Research has found that some dark chocolate bars contain cadmium and lead. And basically we know through education that those are actually two heavy metals. They're linked to a vast of health problems in both children and adults. Um, so if you're not sure exactly what cadmium is, it's it's a bluish white, malleable, ductile, toxic um, metallic element. It's specifically used in protective platings and in bearing metals, as well as I'm not quite sure, but I believe it's also was used or used to be used in making nickels and dimes and stuff like that, not just silver. It is a, it's more just a, it's just a metal. I mean, its exposure, it's not the greatest at all. I mean, you really don't want to be exposed to much of it. So, and of course, we already kind of know what lead is. Lead is found in, I mean, back in the day, it used to be found in paints, and people used to paint their houses, didn't know that lead was in paint, and then, children started peeling paints and eating it and getting sick and finding out that now we know that, lead is not good for you. And then it's not the same kind of lead, it's probably in pencils and stuff, but it's similar to it. It's a derivative of it, and lead is not very good for you at all. So, 90% of my findings and reportings for today's video is going to be from the Consumer Report. They did a publication. I came across this magazine while I was out and about, and I thought it was interesting, and I started reading the article and everything, and I thought, I'm going to dig a little deeper, and and this whole video is going to have a lot of numbers. I'm going to try to go slow with it and break it down a little bit, but don't be alarmed with the numbers. It's just more of just notes. But if y'all know who Consumer Report is, they are a publication. They make magazines per, I believe they still have they have a website and stuff too as well, and they end up they literally try to, they don't really do a whole lot like advertisements in their in their journals or or in the magazine, and it's mostly for you, and it's unbiased, and it doesn't persuade you to go from one brand to another brand or anything like that. It is basically for scientific, and it's also for you to try to help you make better decisions and it kind of condenses things down, makes it easier. Everything's tied up in a bow for you to look at it, so you don't have to do all the research on your own. So with that being said, though, this A lot of my research comes from back about a year ago. I am just now getting around to, like, getting it done per se. So, yeah, so the Consumer Report survey was done by approximately in February of 2023. So keep that in mind. But I'm pretty sure that when it comes to dark chocolate, I'm pretty sure that the numbers have not really changed much in the past year. So, all right, so let's break it down. So, in this survey that was done back in February of 2023, scientists recently measured the amount of heavy metals in 28 different dark chocolate bars. Now, many of them could be the same, like, brands, but they were, um, I guess you could say, they're just different. I don't want to say models, but I mean, it's the same make, but different model of the chocolate bars. So, some have got like a certain percentages of dark chocolate versus, some are a little bit lighter and not as heavier. So, yeah. Um, so, there's 28 dark chocolate bars. I mean, they detected um, cadmium and lead in all of them. Now, for some reason, if I accidentally slip up and say cadmium, that's not exactly how you pronounce it. It's cadmium, and I keep pronouncing it. I want to say cadmium, and yeah, I'm from the south, so we have cicadas, so I keep wanting to say cadmium, but it's actually uh, cadmium. So, anyways, so Consumer Reports, they tested a mixed brand between Alter Echo and Mist. Um, and those brands I never even heard of. And like a lot of these brands I never even heard of. I mean, me myself, I am personally when it comes to chocolates and stuff like that, I'm slowly trying to get into dark chocolates, but I mean, my daughter, she loves dark chocolate, so, but I'm personally a Lindt chocolate or Ghirardelli or even just basic Hershey's, so, yeah. Anyway, so, some of these brands I never even heard of, but I'm assuming they're at the expensive stores, like I don't want to say like Whole Foods or something, but they're probably at some eclectic other, places. So, um, just so keep that in mind because I've never really heard of some of these brands, but I mean, and there's some brands that may sound familiar as I get into it that you'll be like, wow, that's crazy. I eat a lot of that every day, and so I mean, who doesn't really like chocolate unless you're allergic to it? I mean, we all like some form of chocolate in some form of way, whether we have it in our coffee as mocha or we have it in cakes or brownies, cookies. You got to think about how much chocolate gets used in every day, and not just eating candy, but just in everyday use. I mean, there's even like we put it on our skin sometimes. It gets mixed in like some scrubs and some mask and things like that, and you thinking you're putting this on your body, and it's not just on your body, but you're putting it in your body as well. So, okay, all right. So let me get down into the actual basics of this whole, research. And like I said, I'm going to try to go a little slow. I'm going to try not to talk too fast. And I'm going to try my best to pronounce some of these brands. Some of the brands are pretty, they're kind of difficult to pronounce because, like I said, some of these they're exotic, like, but which is kind of a good thing for me, because considering that means I never would end up eating them because I never even seen them or had them. So that's actually a good thing, right? So we will find out. All right. So, like I said, so a lot of my research comes from Consumer Reports. So they tested a mixed brand between I guess there's a brand called Alter Ego and Mist. And who knows a chocolate mist? MIST. mean, that sounds like a drink, but I'm thinking probably Sierra Mist or something. But I also, by the way, I apologize if my voice sounds really croaky. I've been dealing with a lot of allergies and everything, so yeah. Again, it's that time of the year. Here we go. So I'm going to try my best. Okay. So they did also familiar ones like Dove chocolate and Ghirardelli. And I'm sorry, but I love me some good Dove chocolate and Ghirardelli. Ghirardelli is like, I mean, some pronounce it as Ghirardelli, some pronounce it as Ghirardelli. I guess it depends on where you're from. Um, but I'm gonna pronounce it as Ghirardelli because I guess maybe that's something we, because I've always heard it as pronounced as Ghirardelli down here in Texas. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, so I'm where you're from, but that's how we pronounce it. Um, and I love Dove chocolate too as well. I mean, it's all so smooth, and there's something about it, the smoothness. And I'm one of those people that when I eat chocolate, I don't sit there and just like bite into it and chew it. I just suck on chocolate. It's just one of those things I just do. I don't bite and chew it. I suck on it, um, and if anybody were to walk in right now and did hear me say that, that sounds really bad. But I just wanted to say that and let you guys know, like it's that important. But yeah. So so for 23 of the bars that were, out of the whole 28 they did, 23 of the bars, eating just an ounce a day of those 23 bars, um just eating just an ounce a day would actually put an adult over a level that public health authorities, experts, basically say may be harmful for at least, you know, one of the heavy metals, which would have been the cadmium yeah, I think I sorry pronounce it cadmium. Cadmium, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so or lead. So just eating an ounce of that. So if you think about this, 23 out of the 28, that's a pretty good like chunk of different chocolates. So that means the odds are it's probably going to be one of your favorite chocolates out there. And if you're into dark chocolate, I mean, I'm pretty sure if it's in dark chocolate, it's probably in milk chocolate as well. But I'm specifically focusing more on dark chocolate because dark chocolate has been told, and even doctors say this, and some nutritionists say this. If you're gonna eat chocolate, eat dark chocolate. Well, is it really that much healthier for you? I mean, if I'm going to eat metal, candy with metal in it, and heavy metals, that are not good for me. I mean, I'd rather have some chocolate that tastes half decent. And I'm sorry, but after a certain percentage, over a certain percentage of dark chocolate, it don't taste great for me. I think the higher the percentage of the dark chocolate, the less sweeter it is. Um, I'm, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's how it goes. So I think it's crazy that how people can just pick up like an 80 or 90% dark chocolate candy bar and just eat it like it's a Snickers. And I'm over here thinking, how and what kind of cloth were you cut from? Because I can't, there's no way. It's not happening for me. I guess I'm a milk chocolate girl. I mean, but I mean, and I really have gotten over the past couple of years, I have been really getting, I love me some white chocolate. Um, but I'm trying to divulge every now and then with a little dark chocolate because sometimes you want something a little different. Sometimes I mix it up. I do like a half. I'll have like a half of one dark chocolate, and then I'll alternate with the next piece I eat will be a milk chocolate. So it kind of, so I get a kind of best of both worlds here. And because I'm thinking I'm getting antioxidants, it's good for my health, and I can still enjoy some chocolate. Okay, but yeah, but this you know, this video may change your mind. So, and I will link down in the description, the actual articles and stuff like that I got all this information from, so you guys can look it up yourselves if you want to. But yeah, it was very interesting. So yeah, so if you're just eating just an ounce of that, I mean, according to public health authorities, now I'm thinking public health is probably going to be like, I don't know, like CDC and stuff like that. That's what I think about when it comes to when someone mentions public health. So, I mean, I guess so. Five of the bars, were above those levels for both uh, cadmium and and lead. So the ones that were high in both were, so we have, to start with, we have, it's called Theo Organic Pure Dark Chocolate. It's 70% cocoa, and it came up as 120% lead and 142% cadmium. Then we have Trader Joe's. Yeah, I don't know if you know what Trader Joe's is. It's an actual store, so it's their store brand. It is the Dark Chocolate Lovers chocolate. It's 85% cacao, and now sometimes you may hear me say cacao and some you may say cocoa, because there is a difference, and I'm purposely saying it that way because they are spelled differently. Cocoa is spelled with COCOA, and cacao is spelled as CACAO. The A and the O's are, backwards. So okay, so this is cacao. It is 127% lead and 229% cadmium. And then we're going back to Theo Organic. Now, you think organic is safe, right? Extra dark, pure dark chocolate. It's 85% cocoa and 140% lead, 189% cadmium. And then you have Lily's Extreme Dark Chocolate, 85% cocoa. It's 143% lead and 101% cadmium. Now, I recently came across Lily's, and I think I came across it when I was at, I believe, Target the other day, and I was like, oh, I think that brand sells some there, and I thought it was kind of funny because actually I was on the clearance section, and I was like, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, in Target's clearance section is like a really rip off. I mean, you're only saving like 50 cents on the actual product. They'll say the original price is $3.99, and they're gonna mark it down to like $3.29 or something like that. I'm thinking it's still in the threes. I mean, how is that clearanced? But yeah, that's a side note. Um, Pardon my ADHD over here. I mean, when I mention certain things, I begin to wonder and want to mention things, and so yeah. Um, let's see. So yeah, but so Lily's Extreme Dark Chocolate, 85% cocoa, is 143% lead and 101 cadmium. Um, and then we have Green and Black's Organic Dark Chocolate. I never heard of that brand, Green and Black's. That sounds interesting, but I'm assuming it's probably their names, like two people. But they're organic. Again, here we go with the word organic. Do not be fooled with the word organic, because organic does not always mean healthier. A dark chocolate, it's 70% cacao and it's at 143% lead and 181% cadmium. I think I pronounced the last time I said that word. I think I said cadmium. Like I said, forgive me if I mispronounced that word, that metal, because that metal, for some reason, I keep wanting to say cadmium, but it's cadmium. So forgive me if you are into the periodic tables and you're into metals and you're scientific and you know how to say that word. Forgive me. Um, I am I'm right brain. I'm not left brain. So yeah. So those that were just high in just lead, but less in uh, cadmium, you have Tony's chocolonely. Literally, that's what the word is. Okay, it's CHOCOLONELY. It's like they took chocolate, like the first part of chocolate, and put colonially at the end of it, and they put it together. I don't know. Anyways, the dark chocolate, it's 70% cocoa, and it's 134% lead, and only 28% um, the cadmium. And then we have again we had Lily's again, but this one's extra dark chocolate, 70% cocoa. It's 144% lead and 42% in cadmium. Okay, so you got to remember these ones that I'm reading now they're more higher in lead, but they're going to be less in cadmium. So it's almost like pick your metal. It's weird. So the ones I read earlier, those were actually high in both, and in both metals, they were really high. So these are just ones that are just high in lead, and but less in the cadmium. So I guess pick your metal, but if you're gonna eat it, um, and then we have let's see, we have Godiva. Yeah, I forgot about Godiva chocolates. I haven't had a Godiva chocolate in a minute. Okay, so Godiva signature dark chocolate. It's 72% cacao, but it's 146% lead, and only 25% in cadmium. You got Choco Love Strong Dark Chocolate. I mean, who likes that kind of name? I like that name, Choco Love Strong Dark Chocolate. Uh, um, it is 70% cocoa, but it's 152% lead, 60% cadmium, and then you have Lint Excellent Dark Chocolate, 85% cocoa. Now, I love me a Lint chocolate. I mean, I got a whole jar full of the little balls. I mean, I just open one up and put one in my mouth, and yeah. I mean, who doesn't love sucking on some chocolate balls? I mean, think about that one. I mean, we are being dirty here, but I mean, think about it though. It's so great. Just put it in your mouth and you just like literally let it melt, and it's wonderful. Um, Especially at the end of the day, and I usually can eat like maybe like no more than like two, maybe three at a time, back to back, because I mean it's so rich. So I mean, the bags that maybe they come in bags, and some of the bags are pretty small, and you're thinking I'm not paying that much money for a small bag of chocolate, but it a little bit goes a long way in it. It's really rich. It's really thick and it's rich, and it actually does taste pretty good. But I guess I'm having my daily dose of metals. So yeah, with this Lindt Excellent Dark Chocolate, it's 85% cocoa, but it's 166% lead and 80% uh, cadmium. And then you have endangered species, bold and silky dark chocolate, 70 52% cocoa. Now, I just recently came across that brand by accident. I was out shopping and, again, I was at Target again, and I'm always at Target, but I mean, I end up, I was always go down the candy aisle because you never know. So I end up going down it, and I think I did. I saw the wrapping is actually interesting. It's something you would probably find at the zoo or something, because the wrapping has got like animals on it, and but it's very beautifully done. It's like artistically done, and I'm thinking, and using the word endangered species as your brand, you thinking, oh my God, maybe the money is going to help, conserve, the wildlife. But never mind the metal that I'm putting in my body. So let's save the animals, but let's kill humans. I don't know. So, I mean, that was just the concept I got out of that one. So, but it's the bold and silky dark chocolate kind, and it's 72% cocoa, and it's got 181% lead and 31% uh, cadmium. Um, and then we have, uh, I wrote all this stuff down so it would be easier to remember, because obviously I'm not going to remember any of this. Um, Here we go with Trader Joe's again. So again, if you shop at Trader Joe's, be careful. With the dark chocolate, it's just regular chocolate. It's 72% cacao, and it's at 192% lead and 36% cadmium. Again, I just said cadmium, and that's not even the word. Cadmium. There we go. I'm gonna get there, I promise. So then we have what's called Hue Organic Simple. It's HU. So I may mispronouncing that. I never heard of that chocolate, but anyways, it's again organic, simple, dark chocolate, 70% cacao. Again, they're using words marketing like the word simple and organic or natural, things like that, to get you to buy these things. So don't fall for the marketing, because this one has 210% lead and 56% cadmium. And then we have Choco Love. Choco Love again. Extreme dark chocolate. It's 88% cocoa. It's 240% lead and 83% cadmium. And then we have a familiar one. It's Hershey's. What's the first time we had Hershey's out of this whole list? Hershey's Special Dark mildly sweet chocolate. I never seen the word mildly sweet dark chocolate. And when it comes to Hershey's, I mean, I've seen the Hershey's dark chocolate. I've seen things like semi-sweet, but I've never seen their mildly sweet dark chocolate. I just thought it was interesting. Okay, well, it is. It doesn't say how, like, the percentage of the actual dark chocolate part in it, but it did. It is 265% lead and 30% cadmium. So, I mean, that is your list when it came um, to being high in just the lead but low in the cadmium. Now, like, again, like, here we are, just pick your metals here. So this next list, which is a lot smaller, it is gonna be high in cadmium but low in lead. So here we are. So we got Beyond Good Organic Pure Dark Chocolate, 70% cocoa. Beyond Good Organic. I mean, how many like adjectives can we put in a candy bar? Beyond. Okay, so far beyond. Good. Organic. Pure. I mean, you just use I mean, it's like people don't, these companies don't even think of actual like names. They just think of, let's just put a bunch of adjectives that sound good together and just put it all together, and that's the title of the candy bar. I mean, it's insane. It's like there's no brains behind the thought process, but yet I bet their paychecks are really high. So, anyways, it's 70% cocoa, and it's got only 42% lead, but it's got 112% of cadmium. Then we have again the same brand, but it's Beyond Good Organic Pure uh, Dark Chocolate. And I think it's kind of funny. This one's 80%. Now, the other one was 70%. So, this one's 80% cocoa, and it's got 42% lead, but 138% cadmium. And then we have, I, I'm assuming that it possibly is maybe the darker, or the, I guess the higher percentage of cocoa in it or cacao in it. I guess the harder the metal is. I don't know, but then we have what's called Equal Exchange Organic Extra Dark Chocolate, 80% cacao. Equal Exchanged Organic Extra Dark. Oh, what kind of name is that one? Equal Exchange. I thought that was kind of funny. It sounds like we're doing like a stock market thing or something, stock marketing, and we're exchanging our metals and our chocolate. Who knows? Um, so apparently that one has got 45% lead and 120% cadmium. And then here we are again with the Lindt Excellence Dark Chocolate, 70% cocoa, and it's 48% lead but 116% cadmium. And then we have Jafar. Wait, I was gonna say Jafar from Aladdin. I wouldn't put it past them. Okay, now it's bear with me. It's Shafarvin. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to spell it for you, and you can write it down, and you can tell me how you pronounce it. But it's Scharffen, and then Berger or Burger, but it's Berger. Again, like I said, some of these I've never even heard of, but they're maybe in different parts of the country or world. I don't know. But it's the extra dark chocolate. It's 82% cacao, 49% lead, but 136% cadmium. Then we're back at the Alter Ego, which is kind of interesting name too. Alter Ego Organic Dark Chocolate Classic Blackout. Okay, Blackout. Wow. I mean, what a name for a dark chocolate candy bar. I mean, that's crazy. That means it's got to. Yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna be literally looking like black in color. Why not so much of like a dark brown or something? But it's 85% cacao, and it's only got 49% lead, but it's got 204% cadmium. And then we have, I want to say it's Pascha, but it could be Pascha, but I want to say it's Pascha because it's Pascha. Organic, very dark chocolate, 85% cacao. It's got 68% lead and 253%. That is a lot of cadmium. And then here we are with the Dove's promises. Okay, anybody that makes you a promise, think about this. It's got deeper dark chocolate, and it's 70% cacao, but it's got 74% lead and 112 cadmium. Now, I'm not saying that all dark chocolates are horrible. I'm just letting you guys know the truth about the metals that are found in your um, in your candy that you eat, your chocolate. So there is a few, and some of these I never even heard of, but there are a couple, and very few in between, that would be they would consider would be more of a safer choice of chocolate. It's I don't understand. I mean, they still got metals in them, but I guess they got the lowest out of the whole 28 chocolates that they tested. These were probably the lowest of both metals, and so these are probably the safer ones. I mean, that you can choose from if you're trying to avoid as much as you can, but you still want to have that chocolate. So one brand is called Mast, Mast, Mast. Okay, not most, but Mast. Organic dark chocolate. It's 80% cocoa and it's only got 14% lead, which is not bad. Um, we have, and it's got 40% cadmium. And then you have Taza, I think it's called, that's how you pronounce it, Taza, Taza, chocolate, organic, deliciously dark chocolate. Oh my goodness. So, chocolate, organic, deliciously dark chocolate. Okay. 70% cacao. It's only got 33% lead and 74%, 74% cadmium. Then, if you want a more familiar brand, you have you do have the Ghirardelli or Ghirardelli, however you want to pronounce it. Intense dark chocolate, 86% cacao, and it's only got, which is actually got pretty good. It's only got 36% lead and 39% cadmium. Now, I think that may be almost the lowest, if I'm not mistaken. Besides the Mast Organic, it had 14% lead, but it had a higher, like 1% higher in the um, cadmium. So if you had to choose it and you had it available, I mean, those two would probably be your best bet. Then there is you have also another Ghirardelli Intense Dark Chocolate, but it's only 72% cacao versus the 86%, and it's got 61% lead and 96% um, cadmium. And then you have what's called Valrhona. I'll, I was gonna say albino, but it's abinayo, abinayo. It's I will spell this out for you guys. It's Valrhona, and then the second part is Abinao. It's a dark chocolate, 85% cacao, and it's 63% lead and 73% um, cadmium. So, I mean, of course, they're not the only ones, but to me, it's enough to make a dent in the choices you make. Honestly, I mean, to determine the risk by the dark posed by the dark chocolates in the Consumer Reports test, they use the maximum allowed dose level, which is basically it's abbreviated, and you may be able to find it. Some chocolate bars, and I really wish they would allow this on the chocolate. They need to put this on the nutrition facts underneath on candy bars, but they need to put this on there that says it's the MADL, which means the maximum allowed dose level per day set by the state of California for lead, which is zero point 0.5 micrograms, and for cadmium, it's 4.1 micrograms. So, each chocolate mentioned is only just an ounce, though, measured. So those percentages are really high. You're like 200% lead, and it's only an ounce of chocolate. An ounce is very small. If you take a whole candy bar and it says it's, 6 ounces of a candy bar, you take only literally 1/6 of that. I mean, it's like, think about Hershey bar, a regular size Hershey bar. You take less than one little square, and that will be your ounce. And they measure, that's where they measure it, and they're thinking it's 200%. Now imagine you're going to sit down and you're going to have that candy bar and you're going to eat that. That's insane, right? So I mean, you're putting that in your body. I mean, yeah, of course, I mean, it could be worse. I mean, you're sitting there, you're probably drinking a soda while you're eating that candy bar anyways. So I mean, imagine all the chemicals in that as well. And then you're probably, at the end of the day, probably eating processed foods for dinner. So I mean, but if we can just, I don't know, if we have to make better choices for ourselves. I mean, I'm one to talk. I love my chocolate. I am just putting this out there in case and somebody out there is wondering, why do I get headaches every day? Why do I feel awful? Why is I get, I have heart issues or whatever. And you don't understand why, and you try to do everything healthy. You're eating a healthy chocolate. Well, maybe you need to check it out and maybe do a run test for yourself. Maybe you need not to eat the chocolate, and for a couple days or a week or so like that, and see if you feel a little bit better. I don't know how long it actually the metals will stay in your system. I would imagine it may take a minute, but your body will probably excrete it out. I don't know how, but I'm assuming by urine, but it will hopefully, see if it helps, see if your body feels better. You may go through chocolate withdrawals, but I mean, hey, at least you don't have metal in your system. It makes no sense. If you're sitting here trying to eat healthy, you're trying to do everything right, and yet you're still thinking, well, I still want that sweet at the end of the day. I just want that one little bite of chocolate at the end of the day, and you think, oh, I'm gonna grab me the dark chocolate because it's the healthier of all the choices, but is it really? So, um, yeah, so, but, it, like I said, it's only an ounce that was measured. So, I mean, you could only imagine, like I said, a whole candy bar could be like. So, using those levels supplied, because, shocker, here in the USA, there are no federal limits for the amount of lead and cadmium most foods can contain. Now, think about that for a minute there. It's not just in chocolate. It's in other foods too we eat. And we don't have federal limits. And here in the USA. And you ever wonder if I don't know if you ever traveled outside this country and you went somewhere, or even if you educated yourself and saw other YouTubers or other videos or whatever, and they talk about how they don't have some foods are banned in other countries, but not here in the U.S., and you don't understand why. Well, maybe it's because of the levels, because they have federal limits, because they're protecting their people. I mean, but here in the U.S., we do not have those limits, and we need to have it. If you are telling us that, oh, you don't, it's amazing. To me, it's just amazing that we don't have limits. And of course, why would we? Because if you think about this, when you eat what you think was healthy, and then you want to know why you're sick or why you are not feeling well and so forth, and then before you realize it was the actual chocolate that was probably killing you, and or you're getting sick. Well, you get sick, you go to the doctor, go to the doctor ends up running all these tests, and go to the specialist, and the next thing you know, you're on this medications to try to help these symptoms, and I mean, it feeds into big pharma and all that. So, I mean, of course, why would we have those federal limits? Because they're getting a kickback on it. I mean, they're getting a kickback on our health, and it's pretty sad. So, I mean, but again, like I said, the you know the testing was done through the through California and so forth, because that's where the maximum allowed dose levels is set by the state of California. But you think about why California. Okay, well, the because compared to the rest of the country, California's levels are the most protective available. Now, because no other state actually has research funded for testing stuff like this, California does. And so, not only that, and they protect, they're there to protect the amount of levels provided in the chocolate and the foods that we eat. So they have a whole lab and everything there. So while both heavy metals can cause serious health risk, products within each category are listed in order of lead level, because that heavy metal poses particular concerns, and no amount of it is considered safe. To me, it isn't. But I mean, if you're gonna have lead, you're gonna have lead. When choosing chocolate, you might want to also consider other foods that you also might eat that may contain lead, as well as cadmium, even amount. Um, that even certain, even among the safer chocolates, they found some that were close to the maximum allowed dose level for either lead or cadmium. As a result, eating other foods with those heavy metals could push you over the limit. So even if you eat the safer chocolates, okay, you had that for a snack, but what did you eat for earlier in the day? What are you going to eat later on, as a meal? You got to think about that. I mean, there's other foods that have these metals in it as well. I mean, consistent long term exposure to even, just a small amount of these heavy metals can lead to a variety of health problems. The danger is greatest for those that are pregnant and young children, all because the metals can cause developmental problems, because it affects um, your brain development, and it also can lead to a lower IQ, which makes me wonder why the U.S. doesn't have federal limits. I mean, are you, it's like, are you just dumbing us down? Are you out to make sure that our IQ is lower compared to other countries who put regulations because they don't want their children to grow up and have a low IQ? I mean, we want to produce smart children. We want to produce, because when smart children usually make smarter choices, but also are better and smarter, productive workers, and are healthier, and you have longer generations, and you grow your population. And if you grow your population, and if there's a war that breaks out, well, you have better, stronger, not just mentally, but also physical people that can actually win a war. And here in the US, if we don't have these limits, well, think about the long term effects of that. I mean, we're just set up, we're doomed. We're set up to be doomed. So honestly, I get to the point where eventually we just cut out chocolate altogether if you can help it. Now I'm wondering if some of this chocolate's also been used for like baking, like like chocolate cakes, brownies, things like that. It makes me kind of wonder. So yeah, but exposure at any age, is risky in any group. um, Honestly, if you ask me, I believe that any type of exposure, no matter if you're young, old, pregnant, or not. I believe any exposure is a risk. It's too risky. Um, so, some of the problems that you can honestly have is it affects your nervous system problems, hypertension, immune system suppression, kidney damage, and even reproductive issues. So, some of these metals also can be found in a lot of other foods too. They found some in carrots, spinach, sweet potatoes, things like that. I'm not saying don't eat those things, but and because we've been taught, and they tell you nutritionally, those are good foods for you. Those are things that are good for you. Yes, they're good for you, and I'm not saying to stop eating them. So, full disclaimer, I'm not telling you to stop eating it. I'm just saying though, be cautious. If you're going to eat these things, be cautious of your sourcing and and make sure you're either just limiting it, or make sure if you're going to eat certain foods that may have high levels of this stuff, of these metals, you may want not to eat the dark chocolate that day because you're going to have this other thing. Think about that. It's just saying we teach people and kids to think it's all about moderation. We're not saying eliminate, we're not saying not eat it, because we want you to eat the metals. We just want you to just eat less of it, the metals, but continue to eat the metals though. I mean, I just think it's a mind boggling, and I can't be the only one out there. So, anyways, guys, I can keep going on and on about this, and I'm starting to ramble a little bit, but what do you guys think? What's your favorite chocolate out there? Do you like dark chocolate? It makes me wonder if the metals are in these dark chocolates, you can only imagine what's in milk chocolate, or semi-sweet, or you know or white chocolates, any of the other chocolates, because usually these chocolates are made in factories, and they make batches, and then they'll divide it up, and they'll say, well, this batch is going to be milk chocolate, and then this batch is going to be white chocolate, but it all came from the same source. And my daughter made a point the other day when I was kind of talking to her about all this, because she loves dark chocolate. And I, she mentioned that, hey, she was like, hey, Mom, I wonder if it's has to do with the soil. Because you got to think about it. The other foods that also are high in metal are actually foods that grow from the ground. And so it makes you kind of wonder your own soil. So the metal is probably in the soil, in the water. That's probably how it's getting into it. Because we know the cocoa bean, cacao, whatever, I believe it grows through trees, if I'm not mistaken. Or I don't really know. I don't know if it's a vine or it could be like a tree. But either way, a seed has got to be planted. It's got to go in soil. You have to water it. It has to grow. It's got to get its nutrients from the soil. And as it gets in, because that seed itself is probably completely pure. It's completely pure. Probably. Just saying, assuming it didn't come from another piece of chocolate yeah, that was already tainted. So you passed on to its offspring, which again, it's just like us being, if you're pregnant and you eat something, and even though that child that you're pregnant with has never eaten anything on the outside of the body, it still could be exposed to those metals because of the mother and who has consumed these things, and so it does affect them. But if we're so worried over that, then why don't we have federal limits? So I don't know. Hopefully we'll get there someday. We'll never know. Like I said, this publication, all this research, I got it from the Consumer Report, a publication that was back in February of 2023. yeah, I will probably see if I can find a link to the actual listing thing. I actually have the magazine myself. I may just post a photo of it, I guess. I don't know. And so you guys can see, the cover of it. So if you wanted to, try to find it, an old copy somewhere and have it for yourself, or, for reference, because like I said, all my research came pretty much from there. Um, so yeah, I know I read a lot of numbers. I read a lot of facts and so forth to you guys in this short amount of time. And I say short because it's going on over almost an hour now. And I thought this video was going to be like a 20-minute video, but apparently it's a lot to take in. And I'm just wanting to educate you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. Also consider subscribing. I will be posting. I'm currently working on a video of cults. Let's just say that. And I'm thinking about making a playlist of that. So look forward to that. That's coming soon. It's going to take me a little bit longer, but it's going to come soon. I have I think I'm going to post another video. But that's probably going to be in this playlist. And this playlist is mainly going to be about just in the know, basically. And just to kind of, it's like little factual things. So my next little video is going to be basically about, finding the right sleep for you, right mattress and your bedding and so forth, and how to pick it out, and some things like that. And because some people are like totally clueless when it comes to why are they not getting a good night's sleep. And it's not because you need that melatonin. It's not because you have all these health issues. It's probably because of your mattress. It's probably because of your bedding. And also, just so you guys know, I am not getting any, this is not promotional, nothing, any brands, anything I mentioned like that in that playlist is not, it's not promotional. I'm not getting paid to promote it. So it's just straight up factual, straight up study, it's straight up through, um, research, surveying, and stuff like that. So that's just gonna be that in that playlist is just gonna be stuff like that. So feel free to look at that playlist. If you don't want to look at it, that's fine with me. But yeah, but I will also have a separate playlist, which is gonna be my cults playlist. If you made it this far, you'll be surprised. I mean, I am gonna start. I'm going to post about things about cults and different things like that. I'm going to try to do a little bit more research. I know some cults I may cover that a lot of YouTubers have probably already covered, or there's been like already shows on other, bigger streaming platforms and things like that. They've touched on it, but I just wanted to jump on that bandwagon, I guess. So, yeah, I am. I guess that's it for this video about the dark chocolate. And guys, next time you go out there shopping and you're wanting a piece of candy or some chocolate, maybe opt for, something that's not chocolate, and go after those little sour candies, or go instead of, chocolate, if you really, really want some chocolate, um, reach for, I think they said if you eat like almonds or something like that, it gives you that same satisfaction somehow in your brain. Or if you eat like hazelnuts, it's the same thing. Your brain registers the same euphoric satisfaction, same dopamine, and you would, it would be better for you. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah, so while you're out there, make safe choices, and like I said, if you're going to enjoy it, be safe while you enjoy it. And I guess that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure that you are sharing my videos because I could really use that. And comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. If you like these type of videos, like, or if you prefer, other things, other topics, comment below and let me know. Other than that, I guess I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.